Hey guys, how are you? Hey, Randy here. Hey, I just kind of want to do a session here today, a video regarding what we are to see in the near future. A lot of my videos have actually been on, talking about the mega quake, which God has shown me as a very big event that is coming soon. And again, like I mentioned in my other videos, God didn't specify a particular like day or something, but he gave me this word, which he said it is coming soon. But today, that's part of it. But what I really want to talk about, guys, is like how, everything that we're seeing right now, it's like not just, you know, it's not your average, you know, like life is changing. Like we're not seeing our typical day, you know, like like be perfect. We're not living in a utopian society. We're not like living in a perfect time. And I would actually venture to say, guys, like, hey, I think that we are not just living in the last days, but there are actual events that are taking place right now, which are shocking, really shocking. Um, and some of those events are related to things that you guys are actually experiencing. Like, I know that some of you, you might live in California, some of you might be living in New York, or you might be living overseas, but I'm not sure about that, but wherever you're viewing this, you're probably seeing signs of the times, things that we're actually watching and like looking into. At least for myself, I'm looking at everything that's happening right now as signs of the times. And why do I say signs of the times? Well, guys, um, if we read about some of those signs in the book of Matthew, specifically Matthew chapter 24, or we go to the book of Mark, or we go to um, Luke 21. And there are other chapters and passages in the Bible where we actually are hearing God speak into the future of what we are to see as well on a worldwide level. And what I really want to say, guys, is like, hey, we really got to get ready here. Like things are about to hit the fan. And I'm not trying to like dramatize anything. I'm not trying to say like, hey, the world is coming to an end or something. Of course, in a sense, the world is actually coming to an end in the sense of, well, this time period. What am I speaking of? Well, you guys might have heard, you guys might know that many people are talking about how we are actually living in the last days. This is something that I've been speaking into as well. We are living in the last days. This is what God has shown me. This is what God has spoken to me actually through the Spirit of God. Things which are things which God only knows, to put it in a good way. There are certain things that, like we can gain knowledge, but there are certain things that only God knows. And one thing that I know from the Lord, which He has shown me, is that we are living in the last days. And not just that, but we are living in what I would call, using this expression, the end times. Now, I know a lot of you are like, the end times, isn't that the tribulation? Well, I would venture to say that the end times is literally a period of time showing us where we are, because the end Times means that we are in the times of the end. Literally, that's what it means. End times means times of the end. So when we are approaching the end or the times of the end, then we know that hey, we got to look up, redemption draws nigh or near, you could say. But we also have to look at what Jesus talked about, for example, in Matthew 24, um, when he talked about what we are to see, what we are expected to see. Earthquakes in diverse places, wars and rumors of wars, um, persecution, um, you know, false teachers, false messiahs, um, a, a lack of or a growing sense of apathy, or I should say, lack of love towards one another. There are just a lot of different things that, you know, we are spoken to by the Lord in Matthew 24, guys. And those things are things that we are expecting to see, but those are things that we are actually already seeing right now. I mean, if you look at it, if you read through that carefully, you pray through that, you could see, hey, there are wars and rumors of wars like all over this world right now. And like, more of it is rumors, but there's a lot of wars going on as well. And a lot of it being regional, or a lot of it being uh, rhetoric, maybe, but some of it is actually visible. We can see the wars playing out between the U.S. and Iran, or U.S. Iran Israel, perhaps, and then we see it in other countries. You know, um, they have fighting going on between rivals, different, it depends where you live, that is. And then we have Russia and Ukraine and whoever else is involved in that, right? So there are a lot of different signs. And then we are also seeing a lot of earthquakes too. And I know people have been talking about earthquakes forever, and people could say, "Oh, we've had earthquakes since the time of creation. We've seen earthquakes forever since the world began." Well, in a sense, we have been seeing earthquakes for a long, long time, all of history, pretty much after creation. But in honesty, there's a lot more to it. So when you think about it, guys, now, if you consider where we are, and if you think about, well, um, you know, things have really been increasing, and you feel like, well, there's been so many earthquakes. Well, you're not wrong at all. I would actually say that you're really, really, really on track, because what I'm talking about is, yeah, there has been an increase, and that's not just like my perspective. Like if we look at actual data and trends and compare like what we've been seeing in the past half year, for example, and compare it to like the historical averages. I'm not talking about a specific year, but compare it to historical averages, we are way, way, way up, way up. We're like so high up on the number of earthquakes. And it doesn't mean that the world is going to end yet, or we're not coming to the end of the age tomorrow or today, I don't think. But we are seeing the signs which God, or Jesus, you could say, Jesus Christ, had spoken of. He mentioned to the disciples that in the latter days there would be earthquakes in diverse places, and how that would impact, really, right? That would impact people in that time period. Well, guys, from what God has shown me, it takes it to another level, because God has actually shown me how there are earthquakes taking place right now and over the past few months, which are something which he had warned me about specifically. The Spirit of God had warned me about through dreams mainly, but also through words which he has spoken through his Spirit to me. He has showed me and told me things that are to come. Some of these things which I'm sharing about right now, actually. And in particular, he actually had been sharing with me certain events which are coming. One of them is the mega quake coming to the Pacific Northwest, which will affect really most of the West Coast. Um, or perhaps I could say even all of it in a lot of different ways, because tsunami also part of that. But there are things like this which I'm speaking of, which are really tied into things which God has been sharing with me over the previous several months. But even going back further than that, guys, things which God has spoken to me and shown me that, like, literally are coming to pass. And I'm speaking of, yeah, again, I'm speaking of earthquakes, guys. And how, you guys can kind of look back into my previous videos, and I kind of shared, um, I haven't shared too much about what God has shared with me regarding other events outside of the mega quake, but I do have a video which I posted separately too on this. But over the past few months, the Lord has been showing me how He is literally taking kind of a position, and He showed Himself as God and a king, and God is the king, and He likened Himself, right? He likened Himself to a king on a chessboard. And as the king on the chessboard, God showed me how he is maneuvering or positioning himself. And in this dream that God showed me, he showed me that he is moving himself, or he is positioning himself in such a way that we should know that he is starting to um, do that. He is starting to literally position himself in a way where he is going to start bringing in events. So, this is what God was showing me and what He was speaking to my heart during the dream. So, He is positioning Himself in order to begin posturing and really showing how he's going to bring in the end times, like literally, like the where God is right now on that chessboard. He was showing me, guys, that he is going to begin bringing in end time events. And what I'm speaking about is he is ready, and he is beginning to already do those signs in Matthew 24, Luke 21. He is beginning to bring the last days signs on a great level. And that is in regards to everything I just shared about, guys. Earthquakes in diverse places. And a few of those have been great earthquakes already. The 7.6 and 7.4, whatever it was, earthquake, the double earthquake in Venezuela, that was part of it, guys. And there have been other ones too. But God is beginning to maneuver himself in a way where he has to, not that he has to, but he wants to and he wills to do this, because his intention is to literally shake up nations. And in shaking up the nations, he is to bring a great worldwide revival. So this is what I've been shown. And the intention of God is always 2 Peter 3:9, which is, he's not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to saving faith in him. And so through all of this, guys, we're looking at a time in which we're able to see God moving in ways which are different, perhaps, than what people are used to. But this is why we call it the end times, or times of the end, because we're waiting for God to maneuver. We're waiting for God to show us what is to happen before the end. And guys, this is what I just want to share this morning with you guys. This is what he has been showing me, that there are certain things that are going to take place and that are currently taking place, which we have expectation of. We know that these things are in alignment with what he has shown us. He has spoken to us in Luke chapter 21 and Matthew 24. Those things which are to take place and those things which are in alignment with what he has shown me, guys. Right? So, in regards to that, everything that I've been sharing right now is biblical. And we know it's biblical because what I've been sharing is biblical. These things are related to things that God intends to fulfill on the earth prior to the tribulation, guys. Prior to the tribulation. And yes, of course, some of it blends or goes into the tribulation, but a lot of this actually happens before the tribulation as well. And a lot of people don't know this, but it happens because the bride of Christ is not ready. Those people whom God wants to bring into his kingdom are not yet acknowledging God. There are so many who have turned away from God or who don't know God, whom God wants to bring into the sheepfold. John chapter 10. He is calling us. But how many are actually listening? And so, Matthew 24, Luke 21, all of these events are to bring us back into his fold. And those who don't know him are going to know God for the first time. So this is what I'm hoping and praying for, that God will, that people will begin to realize who God really is. And it's only going to happen as we turn to him. But for a lot of people, it's a hardness of the heart. A lot of people are not going to see God for who he is, guys, until that time of the shaking, whatever it may be, whatever shaking God uses to shake you up. God is going to use these events to shake you and me up in our nation and in this world. And by doing so, he is going to be glorified, because through every type of last day event, it is going to bring the world, not the whole world, but those who hear him. It is going to bring the world back to him. It is going to bring the world to get to know him. And it might only be 5%, 10%. I don't know. It might not be a lot, but it will be a lot more than right now. And so God is looking to shake up the nations in order to bring people back to himself, guys. And like I've been sharing with you guys, he is going to do this, and he has already positioned himself, and he is positioning himself to do this, and he is initiating this, and it is going to continue moving forward, guys, as he's been showing me. And all we have to do, guys, is just to wait on him and come to him and draw near to him and to pray, seek his face. And by doing so, we will get to know who he is as God. We'll get to know the God of the earth. I'm talking about the God of the Bible, guys. The God of all creation, the God of the earth. I'm talking about the God of all creation, God of the Bible, Yahweh. You could call him, you could also call him Jesus Christ, he is the God of our salvation, and that whosoever believes in him will not perish, but will have everlasting life. You can believe it, you can trust it. He said it, it's going to be true, and it'll come to pass. And you can believe it because God is who he says that he is. He is God. And guys, I just want to share this with you today, hoping that you will come to trust him and know him on a deeper level. He wants to know you on a much deeper level than you've uh, ever known him before. So, guys, trust him, believe in him, and get to know him today. All right. And with that, I'm going to just, sign off here, and I'll see you guys again. Okay. Bye.